Hey, what's up everyone? So this is the part 2 of our React Food hero section. And if you didn't watch the last part is where we covered our navbar, we added some animations, and also we added the light and the dark mode. And in this section, we are going to cover the hero section right here. We'll add the text, the buttons, we'll add the image, and these icons right here. So this is the progress that we made in the last part. So if you haven't watched it and you want to, I'll leave a link at the description section below. And when I refresh, you can see that we are able to animate our links one by one like that using Stagger Children in Framer Motion, okay? And in this particular episode, we'll also animate our different sections right here. So when I refresh, you'll see that we have that navbar animation and also these other animations. So let's just dive right in. So from our components folder, I'll add another folder right here and I'll call it sections. And then inside the sections folder, I can add another folder called the hero section. And the reason why I do this is so that we can combine the hero section React component with the styled components file in the same folder. So inside the hero section, we can be able to add a React component right here. So I'll create the file. I'll say hero section .jsx, and then from here we can create the normal React component. So I'll say sfc, and I'm using a snippet for this shortcut, and when I click on that, we can give it a name, and I spell it correctly just like that. Now right here, let me start by returning some React fragment so that we don't have that error, and then I'll save it, and then I'll come back to the hero section right here on the folder, and I'll add a new file, and I'll call this one hero section .styles.jsx. And from here is where we'll be able to style our different JSX elements using styled components. So it's good to like separate them, but you can also like include the styles and the component on the same file. It's just up to you. Now, before I forget, let me hook up our hero section component to app.js. So in app.js, just after our navbar, that is where we will just hook up our hero section. So I'll wait for a suggestion here so that I auto import it, and then I self close it just like that. So there we go. And now let us create a wrapper for our hero section, and we will style it using styled components. So I'll go to hero section.styles.jsx, and from here let me import styled from styled components. So I'll import styled, and this will come from styled components. And then now down here, I can make use of it. I can export, let us call this one const styled hero section. And the styled name right here is to avoid confusion between our React component and these element that we are creating with styled component. So right here, we can be able to use styled.div, and then we use some backticks like this. But as you saw with the last episode when we were working on our navbar, let me open one of them. We can be able to directly pass our motion.div or motion. Any JSX element, so that we can add animations to them as well as style them. So when I come to navbar.styles, when I scroll to the very top, we were importing motion from Framer motion, and I want us to do the same thing instead of coming back and forth to this one, so that we like complete it as we move on. And then now we can be able to pass motion.nav or motion.div just like this, and we can be able to now pass some frame of motion props to whichever component, styled component that we have created, and also we'll be applying the styles at the same time. So now instead of saying styled.div, let me call this styled as a function like that. And now right here, I can make use of this motion and say motion.div, just like that. And now in here, I can be able to add any styles. And the first thing that I'll do is that I'll display flex. And the reason why we need this display of flex is so that we can like place our text and our image on a side by side, and then we can like center them. So I'll align the items to the center, and also I'll add a justify of content to be space between. So I'll say justify content space between. And then another thing that I want us to do is to give this a height. So our hero section will have a height of 100%, but we will minus the height of the navbar. So right here, I'll use a calc function, which is available in CSS. And then I'll take 100% and I'll subtract 70 pixels, which is the height of our navbar. So I'll save that, and now this is our container div for our hero section. Now I can go back to hero section right here. Let me close up since we are not using it anymore. Also, I'll close the navbar and I'll come to hero section right here. And now right here, I can be able to make use of our styled hero section. So I'll just make use of it, and then hopefully I'll get an auto import. So styled hero section, there we go, and it's auto imported from hero section.styles. And then I'll close it like this, so that we have an opening and a closing tag, and now it's behaving as a container. So now the next thing that we can do is to start adding the content, and we will divide this hero section into two. The place where we have the words or the content in form of words, and also we'll have the image. So let us create the hero content div using styled components. So I can just actually like duplicate these down here, much easier. But for this particular div, will not be adding any animations. So first of all, let me give it a name. I'll call it hero content. And since we are not adding any animations, I'll just add it as styled.div, like we do normally in styled components. And then now right here, I'll add the styles to it. And to begin with, I'll align self this one. So I'll say align self to be at the flex start, just like this. And what this will do is that it will create some spacing at the bottom where we can add some icons like the call icon or the text icon and so on. And then let me also create some spacing at the top using margin to the top. So I'll say margin to the top of about 80 pixels. And also I'll give it a flex of 1. Also, I think we can also create the container for the image. So down here, I can say, I can duplicate this one actually. Let us create the container for our image. And we will call this one image container. So let me write this one and say image container. And for this one, all I want to do for now is to add a flex of one. So what this will do is that it will make our hero content in form of words here and our image container to occupy equal spacing, since we have flex of 1 and flex of 1 right here. Now let me save this and let make us use of these two. So I'll come back right here and I'll make use of hero content, and this is a container for our content. And then down here I'll also have image container, and I'll click on it to auto import, and also this is a container for our image. Now let us add the content. So we'll have this heading, and then we'll have a paragraph, then we'll have 3 buttons. So let us start with this section. I'll start right here by adding a heading. So I'll say H2, and all we say is spring in. But for our heading we have two styles. We have this one, and we have the orange or a yellowish part. I don't know which color is that. Is it yellow or orange? So right here I'll also add a span, and I'll include wood food here. Wood food. So that is our heading right there. And then let's have a paragraph, and for the paragraph we'll say the most delicious, and then I'll say outdoor food, and I think that is the exact text that we have right here. And then let's have some buttons. So for the buttons we will actually like create a styled component for it. So right here let me duplicate this one. I think it's easier, and all I'll do, I'll change the name to styled buttons. So I'll say styled buttons. So this will be like a container for our buttons. So it will be div, and all I want to do is to flex the buttons so that they are side by side. So I'll add a display of flex, and then I can make use of it in our hero section. So now after our p tag right here, we can have our styled buttons, and we auto import it, and then we can include our buttons in here. So we will have 3 of them. So let me say button, and then let me duplicate them 2 more times. The first one will say capacity, the second one will say location, and the other one is seat type. Just like that. And let me save that to start with, and then I can actually just come right here and add the image. So I'll just say img, and then for the image, what I did is that I just like cropped this one and then removed the background so that it's transparent for it to work both on the light and the dark mode. And I'll leave a link to that image at the description section below. And then after you like get the image, you can come to the public folder, and then in our images you can add it right here. So you'll create a folder called images, and then you'll add the image in there, and that is in the public folder. Okay, and now from here it is easy to like make use of that image, because I can just say right here stroke images, and then stroke the name of the image, which is food illustration .png, and then you can include an alt. I'll say food, and yeah, let me save, and let's see if we can see the image on the UI. together with our content right here. So I'll come back to the UI right here, and there we go. We have the content and we also have the image. Pretty cool. Now, the other thing that we have on our design is these icons, okay? So let us first add them and then we will tell everything. So first of all, we will have like a container for the icons. I can call them contact icons. So I'll go to the hero section.styles.jsx, and right here I can just highlight this one and drop it down here, and I can change the name to contact icons, and this will be like a div. So this is like a container for our icons. We'll display flex and we'll position them absolutely. So we'll add a position right here of absolute, and we'll set bottom to be 50 px or pixels. And also what we can do is that we can also give them some spacing from the left. So right here I'll say left to be 100 pixels, and this 100 pixels is equal to our padding for the container div, and then the position of absolute will make the contact icons to be positioned absolutely to our container div. So if you remember from our first part or episode in app.js, we had a container which we added different styles, and you can see we have a padding of left and right of 100 pixels, and then we have a position of relative right here. So when we add a position of absolute, this one will be absolute to our container. Okay, cool. And then we'll be styling the anchor link for our links down here, since they'll be inside an anchor link. But for now, let us just add them and then we'll come back later on so that we can actually see them. So I'll include it just down here after our image container, and I'll call it a contact icon so that we can also auto import it like this. So I click on that, and then we can have our icons in here. So we will lap our icons with anchor links. So I'll say A, and then this will go nowhere. And then now in here, I can import the icon from React icons. So right here, if I say far, and then reg, and then edit, and then click on this one, hopefully it is also auto imported from React icons. Awesome. So this is our first one, and then I can self close it like that. Let us have the second one. I'll say A, and then it will go nowhere, so I'll just use a placeholder. And right here we can have far, and I'll say phone. I'll click on it to auto import it, and I don't think it was auto imported. Okay, it was auto imported. Awesome. Then I can self close this one. So let's preview it. Let's see if we have our icons. I'll save and then go back right here. We should have them right here somewhere. And there we go. So we actually have the icons down here. Pretty awesome. So now I want us to actually style our text right here, our image, so that it's at the very end, and our icons. So we'll go back to the hero section.styles.jsx, and we'll start with the content. And from here, I can actually be able to nest elements and style them. So right here, I'll select the H2, and for the H2, I'll just add a font hyphen size of about 70 pixels. So we'll make it huge. And then let's also add the font weight. Let's give it a line height. so that we have some good spacing of about 90 pixels. And now inside the H2 we can target the span so that we can give that part of text wood food a different color. So I'll say color for this one will be hash our yellowish or orange color. I'm not sure which color is this one actually. So I'll say a hash FFC1 and then 40. And I think this is yeah, okay. And then I can add the font weight for this one. So I'll make this one to be more heavy. So font weight to be 700. And then the next thing that we can do, actually I forgot a semicolon here. Right here we can also make the span here to have a display of block. So this will start on a new line, a display of block, okay? Because span usually has a display of inline. So let's change that way. Cool. This is our H2 actually. Let's save and see what we have. So this should now be nicely styled. And there we go. So we have springing wood food. Let us style the paragraph, just 2 lines of styles. So after the H2 right here, you can highlight it to see where it ends. I'll just select the paragraph, and all I'll do, I'll add margin to the top and margin to the bottom. So to the top I'll give it 5px, and actually I can just use margin. Let me show you how you can do it with one line of code. So you can just say margin, and then the first value is top, so 5px. The second value is right, 0px. The third value is bottom, so I'll give this one 25px, and the last one is left, and there we go. And then I'll save that. So inside our hero content we also have the button. Let's actually style them. So we can highlight the button down here and add some styles. So I like to space nicely here so that it's readable. Oops, I use caps. Let's select the button, and for the button, first of all we will remove the background, the outline, and set a border. So right here, let me tab, actually let me save to auto format, and then I can just hit enter. I will remove the background and we'll say none, and then outline we will say none, and then border. So let's actually give it a border of 2px solid, and then a grayish color, just is 6 of them. And then let's add some padding to the top and bottom, and then sideways, so all round. So let's have some padding. Top and bottom will be about 17px, and then left and right 35px, like double of it. So actually you can just say that 4, which is like perfect double. And then margin to the right so that we can like create spacing between the buttons. So let's have margin to the right of just 20px. And another thing that we can do is that we can add some cool border radius. So let's fix that. So right here I'll say border radius of 30 pixels. Okay, I don't like the auto compression here. It's like actually messing up this one. And then we need to have the text color. So we can leave the text color from the props, so from our theme provider. So we'll say a $sign, and then right here we can include an arrow function and the structure theme. And then at our arrow function right here, we need to return theme dot font color. So that is coming from our theme provider. So if I come to app.js, so that will either be black or white, depending on whether we are on the light mode or the dark mode. Cool. Now we can also add a hover effect for our button. So actually let us first see how they look. So I'll save, then I'll come back and yeah, okay, there we go. Our buttons are perfectly styled, almost like these ones right here, just that we are on dark mode. So on light mode, you can see they look exactly the same. So this is actually coming along. Let's add some hover effect. This is just an addition to our design, since they didn't like even specify it. It was just for the demo on the part. So right here I'll say hover, and we can like change the background color. So we'll make it to be our orange color, which is hash ff c140. Hopefully it's that. Yeah, there we go. And then we can also change the cursor to pointer, and finally we can change the color. I'll make use of this one, so I'll copy that and I'll paste this here. So this is actually an and, not a dollar sign, and I'll like invert this to be background. Cool, that is all we need to do. So I'll save it, and then let us style the image, and the image is inside our image container. So we can just like come to image container, which is our wrapper for the image, and I'll select the image and I'll style it here. I'll give it a position of absolute, so that I can be able to set it to be at the very bottom. So I'll set bottom to 0, and I'll also set right to 0, so that it actually touches the walls of our screen. And another thing that we can do is to give it a height of about 85 VH, which is the viewport height, and a width of auto. And this is all we need to do for our image. Pretty nice. So let's save and preview it. So here's our image. It should come to this side and down here. There we go. And then our buttons have the hover effect now, just like our icons here. So this is actually coming along nicely. So let's style this part, these icons right here, and then we will add animations using frame of motion. So I'll come back right here and I'll go to the contact icons. I'll select the A element, and we'll actually have a bit of styling here going on. So let's be a bit quick. I'll give it a width of 60px. I'll give it a height of 60px, so it's a perfect like a square. Let's make it a circle using border radius. So I'll give it a border radius of 50%. And now at this point we can center everything that is inside. So right here we'll use a display of flex. We'll align items to the center. So align items, I'm not getting a cool suggestion. I want items and to the center. Awesome. Let's justify the content to the center. So justify content center. Cool. And then let's give it some spacing to the right, so that they are not like intact together. So margin right of about 20px. And now let's give them a border. So this is like a container for our icon. Remember that, okay? Our icon is an SVG, but we are using an A, so that you can like link to any part of the page or like external site that you want. So right here I'll give it 1px solid, and then a color. I'll use DA, which is grayish, a bit more grayish than EEEE. And then right here, let's have a color, and we can use the theme to read the color. So actually, let me remove this one. I had previously copied it, so I have just pasted it here. And we won't touch on that one, it's perfect that way. Let's give it a font hyphen size. So this will also affect the font size for our icons to be 20px. Now we obviously need a hover effect on this one, and I can do this. I can come right here and copy the hover effect for our button. I'll copy that. After our A, I'll paste it here. And the background will be this. The color will be this. And it should be pointer, so everything will remain like that. So this is all we need to do for now. Let us save and see what we have. So this one should transform nicely to a better styling. There we go, pretty nice, and it still looks nice on the light mode, but I like the dark mode much better. Now the thing is, we have completed the styles using styled components, and we need to give life to our design here by adding some animations. So currently we only have animations on our navbar. So when I refresh this one, our navbar are awesome, but this one are not animating. So I'll go back to hero section right here, and let's import motion from Framer Motion. So actually I come back here and copy the import. I'm just too lazy to type right now. I have been typing enough, and now right here I'll just paste it, and we will be doing a similar thing from our previous part of our design here. That is the navbar. So remember how we did for the navbar? Actually come back to the navbar, and what we did is that we added various props. We had initial, hidden, animate, visible, and then variants. And these initial hidden will read the hidden property from our variant. So as you can see here, variants, it's nav items, and the nav items here, it's an object with various properties. So we have hidden, which is starting from an opacity of 0. So that will be the initial, and then it will move to animated value of visible, which will have an opacity of 1. We can add transition to this one and add delay to children, and the children is now our item right here, all different elements that is wrapped with our parent element right here. So this is like the child, and that will have like a delay of 0.3 before they start animating, and then we will stagger the children by 0.2. So what this means is that they will animate after each other with a duration of 0.2 seconds between them. So for example, if this animates first, after 0.2 seconds, this one will animate next. After 0.2 seconds, this one will animate next. So they'll be in form of a sequence, and they'll create that nice effect. So we will be doing a similar thing actually. So I'll just copy the initial, hidden, animate, visible, and the variants right here. So I'll copy that. I'll come back to the hero section, and now our styled hero section is our parent element. And remember, we used a motion.div to like style it. Therefore, when we pass these props, it won't even complain. It will know what to do with them. But now I'll change the name of the variants, and let us call it hero items. Just like that. And now we need to create it at the top here. Now, the thing is, it will be so similar to our nav items right here. So instead of just keeping on to type, I can just copy this one, and then I can come back right here and I can paste it here. And I'll change the name to hero items. And then now these will animate from an opacity of 0. So this is the first value, and then a comma. We have the second value, which is visible, and for visible we have multiple. It will animate to an opacity of 1, and then it will transition. Now for the delay children, you can do like a calculation depending on how many items you have on the nav bar, and you can estimate when they have completed animating, so that you know when to start the animation for our hero section. And according to my calculations, I saw that 2 seconds will be pretty nice. So after about 2 seconds, it is when our animations for these ones will start. Okay, so the nav bar should have completed animating, and then we can start the animation for the hero section. And then we can stagger the child. You can either leave it that way, or you can even increase to 0.3. I'll increase to 0.3. So this is like the animation for the entire section together with all the child. So now when I save this, we should be seeing some animation going on. Let us refresh, and if it works out, we will continue from there. If it doesn't, we'll fix the issue. So it's working for the nav bar, but you can see for this one here, it's too random, and I don't think it's working. Visible. Okay, if we add a delay of 2, it's when it will actually like have that delay for the entire section, not for the just for the children. Remember, we are not yet specifying the child, so let's see if this will have an effect. We shouldn't see the hero section first. We should see the nav bar animating, and then at the hero section. So I'll go back to our delay children, and then after these hero items, I'll create the item. So let me come to navbar. I'll create this one item. I'll copy that, which is an object, and then I'll paste it here, and the hidden value will be 0. And then for this one, we can animate from the x-axis to be about negative 150, and then the opacity here to 1, and x here will now be 0. So it will be moving from a negative value of 150 to x of 0, and this is the like where it will move to. And now these animations should be applied to the child. So this is how we do it. We previously imported motion right here, and now instead of saying just h2, we can say motion dot h2, and then we can add variants to it, a variance prop like we were doing in our navbar. So we can add a variance prop like this, and we pass our item, and our item is this one. So I'll come back right here, and I'll pass it just right here. So this will create that animation for the h2 only, so not the rest. And this now h2 is a child for our styled hero section, and also a child for our animations. So this is the parent, this is the child. Okay, remember we are passing hero items here, and we are passing this one here. So let us see if we can animate that h2. I'll come back right here. Let's refresh. We start with the navbar, and you can see we have a delay on this one, and there we go, it pops in. So let's do the same for the rest. So right here, for our paragraph here, instead of just paragraph, we'll say motion dot paragraph, and then we will add our variance prop. Let's say motion dot button, and we can add the variance prop. The same for this one and this one. So I'll add them. So that is our buttons, and then let's go to the image container. Actually, we can also say motion.img. So you can see the frame of motion is so flexible, and it's easy to work together with our styled components. And for this one, we can actually like add its own styling, because when we animate it, normally it won't look nice. So let's like do this, and then when I save, let's see the kind of effect that we have. I'll refresh and let's see. So we should start with the nav bar to animate. There we go. There. But for the image, you can see that it is like moves the screen. So I don't want that movement. And what I can do is that I can add the stylings, different stylings to it. So I'll just copy the hidden and the visible here, and then I'll come to the image. So where is the image? Here, the variants. So instead of passing the item, I'll like pass the variants like this. So it's possible to pass them this way. And I don't know why we have a lot of issues. So we should like include another level of object. Okay. So let me fix it. I'll include another level of object, and yeah, that is working. Awesome. Now I won't move the x-axis. Okay, so I want it to be intact, so I'll make it to be just 0. Okay, and then I'll do the same for the icons. I'll be adding different styles for the icons, and I want the icons to like animate first before the image. So that is affected by stagger motion. So let me move this to be at the very top of our image container. So now our contact icons is between the hero content and the image container. So we are now like just animating the image for the opacity and not the movement. And then for the contact icons, I can say here motion.a, and I can say here motion.a. And what I'll do a similar thing to this one. So I'll copy the variants from our image, and then I'll pass it right here as a plot, and also I'll pass it right here as a plot. So I want this one to move along the y-axis, so I can move it along the y-axis by 50, and then right here along the y-axis by 50. And I also make sure that the final one, it's also y, not x. So I'll save, and hopefully everything works out. So let's see if it works out. Let's refresh. There we go, the number, the text, our icons, and then our image. So everything is working out, and we have actually achieved our design and also animated using Framer motion, which is really cool. So I didn't make these to be mobile responsive, but if you want me to make it responsive and I get more than 100 likes on this video, I'll make this particular page to be mobile responsive. So I'll show you how you can do that in styled components. Apart from that, that's it for this particular video, and this might be the last part depending on the reaction of the video. And thank you guys for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel for more future videos just like this one, and also you can suggest what kind of videos you want to see in future at the comment section below. So I'll be seeing you on the next one.